we all experience this in the N&D world. There is a high amount of what I'd call kind of human admin. And I think a lot of the reasons why we make tech decisions is to say, how can I take all this crap that I really hate doing and get technology to do that for me? So there's definitely looking at what are those, what you call high friction, what are those kind of blockers, or what are those high priority blockers? And then saying, if I can remove that, what is that going to free me up to do? And I think, again, being really clear is if it does free you up, what you're going to do with that time to free you up with to enhance the rest of the work that you're doing. So yeah, definitely you can have that mindset of looking for that. And then the secondary layer is definitely enhancing. And what I mean by enhancing, it could be simple things where if you were having to collect data in your organization on learning impact, you're not going to get a tool that does that for you end to end, but you are going to get tools that definitely help you in part of that journey. So it's really clear to look at what components can enhance what you're already doing. So basically, how is it going to make you work smarter, work faster, but also do that to a high quality level? And I think that's what, if we again go back to examples of AI at the moment, is that that's what some of that conversation is missing. We talk about speed and working smarter, but we're not always talking about the quality of work. So there's that element of, if my line manager or my senior leader says, I need to understand what has been our performance improvement in this area of the organization for the last 6 months. Do you have a tool on hand that's going to save you maybe 30 to 40% of your time to get that data, to interrogate that data, and then you as a human present that data? So I think that's always a good thing to look at. It's not just purely about what can I wipe off my desk. It's also, you can look at this as more, let's say, long-term thinking, as in over the next couple of years, what can this continue to help me enhance? And the context matters here, because some of you might be in big enterprises, some of you might be in scale ups, some of you might be in startups. You could be a team of one, you could be a team of 15 or 20, I don't know. So it really depends on your context in saying, can I use tech to help me out with more of this stuff, depending upon the size of my team? And I'll give you an example where when I first started working at scale ups, I was always a team of one. So a lot of my assessment was, I'm not going to have any human resource. So I'm going to have to rely on digital assistants to actually help me do a lot of work. So my use case in that was, actually, I do need a tool where I am going to have to rely on it a lot more for some of the delegation, some of the automation. But an enterprise level, as an example, you might be looking at something, well, I've already got a team of 20. So actually what I need it to do is these three core use cases, and then anything else is kind of a bonus. So context 100% matters in it.
I completely agree. We're going to move on to a bit more about the tech in a second, but on that point, you mentioned around looking for an end-to-end thing, and it comes back to what you said about understanding the audience as well, because I feel across every industry, when people are looking for tech, they're looking for the silver bullet that caters to every person.
Mm,
And that is also how you can end up buying something that doesn't serve you. So something we went through recently was, could we get a tool that incentivizes everyone in the company to share things on social media? And it would cost
mm,
quite a lot to get a tool like that in. There's lots of things that gamify it, but actually, what if a percentage of our audience just or internal customers just don't care and they just wouldn't post either way? So, you
yeah.
know, investing in a tool that you think is going to do it, it's not the right audience, but saying maybe you have five people who would do it, just sit down and
Mm,
dedicate some time with those five people and they're the right audience. So I think like
mm,
not actually sitting down and working out the person also leads you into that blind alley of getting sucked into looking for the one size fits all that you're not going to find.
100%. Yeah. And I think, yeah, in the space that we're in, the learning tech industry itself is worth about $400 billion at the moment. So there's a lot of stuff that goes around. And even outside of what we kind of call learning technology, really any technology can be a learning technology based on its intent and how you're using it across an organization. So the point of the ideal customer and the great example you gave there is really good, because if you in a silo go and buy something and you've not spoken to the people who are going to use it, and actually they're using something which has a better user experience or a better user interface, you're going to find yourself in the same position again. So this is definitely not, when we talk about this, it's not keeping this internal in your team, it's engaging with the rest of your organization. And we'll talk about this from piloting tools to basically say, we're looking at this thing, here's a license, go and use it for 2 weeks, let us know what you think. Instead of saying, what I usually see 99% of the time is, we bought this tool, here's a new tool, take this tool for the next 2 years and we'll do one training session at the end of the month and then you go figure it out from there. It's just, it doesn't work that way. And unfortunately it hits the graveyard quite quickly.